okay? Can I get some thumbs up in the chat? Thumbs up, please. Hello. Hello from Texas. Ashley, I am here in Texas as well. I am in the San Antonio, LA. We have Ireland. We have Saudi Arabia. We have South Africa, New York, Iowa, San Diego. Oh my gosh, the chat's going so fast. I don't know what's happening. Hi, everybody. New Braunfels. Hello. You're just down the road from me. I am in Bernie. Amazing. Hello. Oh, this is so fun. You guys, we have over 2,800 of you registered today. Over 2,800. That is a new Flodesk Masterclass record. So thank you all for registering, for being here. I am so excited to dive in. Amazing. Hello, Vic. I grew up in Vegas area. Hello, Philippines global audience. All right, guys, but we have a lot to cover here. And we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? I'm going to swipe on over. I have a slide deck somewhere. Maybe I don't have a slide deck. Stand by, guys. I might have closed the wrong tab. We're going to jump over to Canva and I'm going to get this ready because apparently I closed the wrong tab. All righty. Now can we see it? Is that better? Okay, cool. Amazing. Amazing. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Erin. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and dive right in because we have a lot of stuff to cover today because there's a lot of new things that came out last week and we want to talk about all of them. So, what I'm going to do right here, jump on in. There we go. Hi. I'm Dawn. Nice to meet you. If we haven't met before, I'm Dawn. I'm the product education manager here at Flodesk. I am also a multi-business owner myself. I have ran two successful businesses here in the Texas Hill Country, and thanks to Flodesk, I was able to make additional multi six figures in my businesses. It was amazing, right? So not only am I teaching you all the things from the insider's view here at Flodesk, but I have done it myself and I still run one of those businesses. So I am super excited to share all of the things with you today and dive into our workflows. I also want to introduce two of our amazing superheroes, Erin and Petra. They are both on here. Ladies, say hello in the chat. Erin and Petra are both part of our member experience team. They are incredible. They are truly our superheroes of our platform, and they are here to answer your questions during today's call. Okay? Now, a couple of things when it comes to these questions, a couple of housekeeping items. Okay? First, yes, there will be a replay. Okay, you will get a replay emailed to you. We also host these live or publicly on our YouTube channel, so you can go check it out. You can go check out all of our old master classes, watch all of those. We don't hide anything; it's all yours. Please check them out and enjoy them. Learn from them. Come back to them. What I do is I like to come back. It takes me a little while to upload the replays because I want to make sure to add the chapters, so it's really easy to find the part of the webinar you want to watch. Next is the Q&A section. So this is really important. If you guys cannot tell, there are hundreds of you here. There's hundreds, and the chat is going crazy. And now all of the AI note takers have just joined as well. So we all have them in the chat. But our chat is very, very active, and we love that, okay? Please be active in the chat. However, if you have a question, we will not see it unless you drop it into the Q&A section in Zoom. So go find your Zoom window wherever it is, it might be on the bottom bar. Go find that window and click on the Q&A button, okay? The Q&A button is where you can ask your questions. If it's something that can be quickly answered, Erin and Petra will take care of that. They will also be flagging questions for me to answer live at the end, okay? So again, if you have a question, please drop it into the Q&A section. Last but not least, we are going to be creating workflows live today. And I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually share email templates, form templates, workflow templates straight out of Flodesk. It's very easy. So not only are we going to build these together, but I'm going to drop the link to the share templates into the comments. So if you want to copy them and just use them, have at it. It's all you, okay? So at the end, I'm also going to be sharing these templates, okay? And also these emails are my real emails. So, I mean, please don't use the Tech Savvy brand on your stuff, but you guys get it, okay? Amazing, amazing. So we're going to do this a little differently today with these shared templates, but we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Again, yes, you will get a replay. If you have a question, please drop it into the Q&A section and we will be sharing templates here at the end. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So first and foremost, what the heck is a workflow? Okay. If you are here and you've never used a workflow, you're in the right place. If you're here and you've used a million workflows, you're also in the right place because we're going to talk about all the new stuff that came out last week. Okay. Now, there is a difference between what we call like a single send email or a campaign email and a workflow. Workflows are perfect when you want to automate steps after somebody does something, okay? So whether they fill out a form or they're added to a segment or maybe they made a purchase, right? Whenever they do something, then do this, okay? Example, if you have a opt-in on your website for a free PDF download, when they fill out that form, you want to automatically send them that email as soon as they fill that out, whether that's 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the morning. You want that to happen right away. That's what we use workflows for. Okay. Now, these workflows are perfect to continue the steps. Okay. So they tend to happen a couple days after or like whatever time delay, but you think of it in a way of like automating a sequence. Okay. So think of like a challenge. If I want to do a 5-day challenge, right? I want those emails to go out one day after the other, right? It's a series. They start the series, they end the series. This is also great for welcomes. People are coming in at different times. You don't want to welcome everybody at the same time. You want to welcome them when they're there, right? This is also great for nurtures or evergreen series. So, like a series that I've been working on in my business is a Tech Tip Tuesday series. And essentially, you join the series and I will send you a tech tip every single week, okay? Now, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not trying to make those emails date specific or anything. It's just a new tip every Tuesday. Some people are at tip number 1, some people are at tip number 35, right? They enter and they go through the flow at their pace. This is also great for re-engagement sequences and sign-up confirmations. Just like this webinar, when you guys signed up for this webinar, you got an email that said, hey, you registered. Here's the link to the Zoom. And you guys like that new add to calendar button? Yeah. If Natalie's on the call, thank you, Nat. I love that. So these are great uses of workflows, okay? This is when we want to use these workflows. Now, let's, for a second, though, talk about what not to use a workflow for at the moment, okay? This might be a different conversation later this year, but right now, what I don't want you to use workflows for are things like newsletters, okay? Unless your newsletter is something that you want them to get the first issue and then get the second and third in order, you don't want to send like a newsletter through a workflow. You want to schedule the email, your newsletter, to go out at a specific time and date. If somebody comes in after that one goes out, they simply just get the next one when you send that next email, right? We also don't recommend using workflows for things that are very date specific. And we're going to talk about date specific things at the end here. But if, for example, if you're running a Black Friday sale, okay, Black Friday is on a very specific day. We want that Black Friday, like, hey, last chance email to be scheduled. Whoever is in that segment at that point in time gets that email. We don't want to be using a workflow for that because the workflow would go out at 3 days later, and it's like a cadence, right? So that's what we don't recommend using them for. It's also not a great thing to use for reminders. So everybody here also got 2 reminder emails. You got a 48-hour reminder email and also a 1-hour reminder email. Those were not part of a workflow. They were scheduled emails because I don't want somebody who comes in later to get an email that's not relevant for them. Okay, so we're going to come back to the date specific things, but I really want to call this out because a lot of people try to put things into workflows that aren't always the best use of workflows, at least currently, until we add some new features, and they get a little stuck. So remember it this way. If it's date specific, like a sale or a reminder, I want to use a single send email, okay? If it is something where they start at point A and then they work through it on their own pace, perfect for a workflow, and that's what we're going to be building today. Okay, so we're not going to spend too much time on the slide deck. There's only like 3 more slides here. We're going to jump right into Flodesk, and we are going to go play right here in Flodesk. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to give you a tour of workflows, okay? So I am going to go to workflows. So here I am logged into my Flodesk account. This is a test account. So if you see any emails, they're not real, okay? Or email addresses, let me rephrase. These are real emails from my business. So I brought them all over so you can see them. But what I'm going to do to access workflows, I'm simply going to click on the workflows tab right here at the top, okay? So right here at the top, you will see workflows, okay? Now you're gonna ignore these two. I was just playing with those earlier. Now we are gonna come in here to new workflow. This is where we're gonna start. Now, once I click on the workflow tab, I have some templates. These templates are great to start, maybe get you some inspiration. We talk about sales. Now again, we don't want to do specific date things. So if you want to like give somebody like a sale offer whenever they come in, like it's only for them, like you can definitely do that. Follow-up sequence, welcome sequence. There's some great templates here. But for this, we're going to be starting from scratch. Now I'm going to go ahead and just say test for a second. We'll come back through and do a new one here to do our workflows that we're going to build out. Okay, so a couple of things. So we're here in the workflow builder. This is it, okay? You have here at the top is called your trigger. This is what starts the workflow, okay? And we're going to talk about the different triggers here in a minute. Now, also, after we choose a trigger, so I'm going to click on this trigger, I'm going to click on this, and then over here on the right, this little drop down pops up. There are multiple different ways to start a workflow. You can start a workflow when somebody is added to a segment, subscribes through a form, or if you have your e-commerce platform connected or you're using Flodesk Checkout, you can also trigger these workflows to begin when they make a purchase or abandon a cart. So there's multiple ways that they can come in here, okay? So that's our trigger right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and click something random just for a second. We're gonna come back to the triggers here in a minute. We also have our actions. So to get to the actions, you have to hover over the line in the workflow, okay? I'm gonna click on the plus sign. And if you are somebody who has used workflows and you have not taken a look at them in a little while, you'll see we have a lot of new options here. So when I click on the actions button, I have the option of adding an email, performing an action. So like adding or removing subscribers from a segment. I can time delay. I can branch to a yes, no branch. I can add multiple branches. You guys, this is so good. I cannot wait to show you that. Or you can add an exit step. You can have them exit the workflow. So these are the steps that we can add to our workflow. Okay, these are our actions. Now, I also want to come up here to the top right and talk about our settings because this is missed quite a bit. Okay. All right, here on the settings tab, you have some settings for this specific workflow. The first one is to allow repeat subscribers. Okay. So when you are building a workflow, let's say I'm building a freebie opt-in, I might want people to be able to sign up for it again if they can't find the email or if they forgot about it and they want to come access it again. I want them to be able to go through it more than once. I'm going to go ahead and turn on allow repeat subscribers here. Okay. So I can add that right here. If I want to prevent anyone from entering this workflow, I can do so by excluding them by what segment they're in here or excluding by them being in another workflow here as well. Also for this right here, if they happen to enter that segment or happen to enter that workflow as they're already in it, it will actually kick them out of the workflow. So for example, if they purchase something and you don't want somebody that's already purchased something to be in here, as soon as they purchase it, it will boot them out of the workflow and you will not have them continue further. Okay? All right. So again, that's just our quick workflow tour. So again, we have our triggers, our actions right here, and then our workflow settings. Okay. Now I'm going to close out of this workflow. One other thing too, I'm going to come out of here, click on the Flodesk icon, come here to workflows. Make sure, like we already named our workflow, but make sure you're naming it a way that you want to so you understand what it is. When you're looking at your analytics and your metrics, having a well-named workflow is going to be very, very helpful for you. Okay. Now, before we move on to building a freebie opt-in workflow, I'm going to do a quick check in the chat. Beautiful guys, make sure you are jumping into the Q&A for any questions. Ooh, I see some deliverability questions in here. My favorite. Please drop those in the Q&A. Erin, Petra, can you flag the deliverability ones for Q&A? We can talk about landing in the spam folder as well. Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do now, this was just our test workflow, just to show you around. I'm going to delete it to keep things clean here. Okay. But what we're going to do now is we're going to build our first workflow. So I'm going to show you on my account here, I have this form, okay? I'm going to open this form link. Here we go. Real life, there we go. I have a free opt-in, get free email templates. Okay. I want people to sign up. That's how they get on my list. They subscribe. Okay. So this is the form that I already have built. Now, when somebody signs up for this form, I want them to get the templates they signed up for, right? So to do that, I'm going to use a workflow. Now I'm going to come up here to workflows, new workflow, start from scratch. And I'm going to call this this is my personal naming convention. This is not official Flodesk business, okay? But I like to call it opt-in whenever it's an opt-in. And then I can say like email template freebie. That's how I like. And if it's for an event, I say event. Or if it's for a welcome, I say welcome. That's just how I like to name all of my things and keep things organized. Okay. So you already saw the form that I had, right? Now we want to build the workflow to give them the thing that they opted in for. So I want this workflow to begin when they fill out that form. Okay. So I'm going to click on my trigger, go over here to choose trigger when they subscribe through a form, and then I'm going to choose that form. Okay. Now I'm going to go back here to my form tab real quick. Oops. I believe I did not name that well. There we go. Okay. So opt-in free template email. Let's see. My cache might be caching here. There we go. Subscribe through a form. It should be this one. There we go. Okay. It looks like my cache is. Oh, no, it is. Just kidding. It says at the bottom. I was like, wait a minute. Why isn't my thing updating? Okay. So I chose the form opt-in free email template. That was super confusing. Should I do that again, Odessa? Let's do that again. Okay. So I'm going to come back here. My form is named opt-in free email template. Okay. I'm going to go to my workflow. Opt-in. This is my one I just started. I'm going to close this out. I want them to start this workflow when they subscribe through a form, and the form is called opt-in free email template. Okay. Somebody fills out the form. They are put into this workflow. Now, new feature that just released a couple weeks ago. We have now introduced the ability to add multiple triggers to a single workflow. So you don't have to have multiple workflows for different forms. You don't have to have multiple workflows for if you want them as a segment versus a form. You can do this. See that little plus sign right there? Amazing. So I'm going to do that. Because for example, let's say in another email I send in my newsletter, I have a button that's like, hey, get our free email templates. I don't want to send them to a form that they then have to sign up for and then they get the email. I can instead, when they click on that button, use a link action, add them to the segment, free email template, and then it will also start this workflow the same. Okay. So I'm going to click on this plus sign. I want to start this workflow also if somebody is added to a segment, and then I can find that segment. So I have a segment called opt-in email template freebie. Okay. So you see how I made that second branch, and I can add up to 6 triggers. Okay. So I can add multiple different forms. I can add multiple different segments. All of those different things will trigger into the same workflow. It's very, very beautiful. Gives you crystal clear visual of what is going on in your workflow. Okay. So again, for this workflow, whether somebody fills out that form I created or if they got into that segment some other way, I want them to get the freebie that they just asked for. Okay. So here are my 2 triggers. We got our multi-trigger. Now I need to add the email to give them what they asked for, right? Now I want both of these. I could create 2 separate emails if I really wanted to. I could do that. Or I can have them branch together and then send the same email. I'm going to click on that plus sign, click on email. And then over here, it's going to ask me if I want to duplicate an existing email or if I want to create a new email. Okay. Now for this workshop, if I created all the emails, it would be a lot longer than an hour. So I don't want to do that because we have a lot of emails to go through today. I've already created these emails. They are on my email page. So I'm going to simply go to duplicate existing email. And then I have an email in here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Here it is. My email I've already created. Ready to go. Okay. Now, if you want to start from scratch or create a new one, you get the template gallery. You can see all of your emails. You can also say your favorite emails in there. You can build from there. Or if you choose one of those existing emails you've already built, you can come in here and simply edit this email if you want to make some changes by hovering over here on the right, click edit. You're brought back into the builder and you can build this email. Okay, you can do whatever you want here. So I can change the image, I can change the link, I can add like, like, hey, are you looking for more support? I'm like giving them soft guidance to join my happy hours, different things like that. So I'm good with this email. I'm going to go ahead and click finish. Over here on the right-hand side is also my subject line and my preview text. I want to make sure that that looks just like I want it to. Good to go. And I'm set. Okay. So let's review this real quick. Now, if they come in through that form, they start the workflow. Or if they're added to that segment, they start the workflow. And immediately they get the email. Okay. If I wanted it to wait like 5 minutes, I can come up here above the email and I can add a time delay and I can choose the time delay. So I can say 5 minutes. So they fill the thing out, they get a quick breather, and then they get the email. That's totally up to you, however you want to do that. But you can definitely add time delay there as well. Okay. Thank you for the beautiful email. You're about to get it in your in your share template. Enjoy all of my text heavy creative emails. I'm happy to share them. Okay. Now, let's say after we deliver the email, we want to send them an email that's like, oh, like, did you like your download? But only if they actually clicked on the download, right? We don't want to send them an email like that if they haven't clicked on the download. But if they haven't clicked on the download, I might want to send them an email that's like, hey, don't forget you still have this to download. Okay. So I can do that with a yes, no branch. Okay. So underneath this email, I'm going to click on the plus sign and then I'm going to add a yes, no branch. Okay. Then the yes, no branch asks me, okay, well, what are you looking at? Like, what are we waiting for? What's the yes and no about? For yes, no branches, I can use it to meet certain filters, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I can have it watch for an email being opened, like the one above, and I can also watch for an email or for a link being clicked in that email, okay? So I only want to send them an email that's like, how was your download? If I know they clicked on the button to download the email, okay? Or to download the templates, okay? So I'm going to say yes, move them to yes if they click on a link in the workflow email. And then it's going to say, okay, what email? Because there might be more than one email above me. And I'm going to choose the one called here it is, because that's my subject line. And then it's going to show me all of the links inside of that email. And I'm going to make sure to choose the one that is my download link. So it's textheavycreative.com/thanks. If they click on that, they are taken to the download. So I want to make sure to do that. Now, new feature alert. Okay, this one's kind of the quieter of the releases here. But in the past, if you did this, we've had this for a while, but you had to add a time delay or it would check right away. Okay, so you would have to add like a 5-day time delay and then it would wait 5 days and then it would check it. And it was kind of weird because people might have clicked right away and then they still had to wait the 5 days. It was kind of funky, okay? So now we added this time frame feature to where you can say, okay, look at this for this amount of time. And if this happens within this time frame, immediately go to yes. Okay? So if somebody happens to click on that email, like 2 hours after, it'll move them to the yes branch right after they click that email 2 hours after I sent the email. Okay. So let's say I'm going to do this for like 7 days and I can choose within 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, or a custom or before a date, whatever I want to do here. But I'm going to click on that within 7 days. So if they happen to click on that link within 7 days, I'm going to go to the yes branch. I'm going to add another email. Okay. I'm going to come up here, duplicate an existing email. Now I should have an email right here. Did you love your templates? Right? And then I'm going to give them more support for how they can use their templates. Okay. So I'm going to select that email. Again, if I want to edit that email, I can click here. You can do that. Give them another link, give them a countdown, whatever we want to do here. But I care about like, hey, tell me about your templates. Okay. This is also a great way to get interaction. I get responses from workflows like this. I say like, hey, how did you feel about, the AI toolkit? And I get responses. It's a great way to interact with your audience. Now, if they don't click on it within the 7 days, I want to send them a hey, don't forget to download your stuff, right? So I'm going to go to my email. Again, I've already built this email. So I'm going to go to duplicate existing. And then I have one that says, don't forget to download your templates. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to think about, so I want you when you build these workflows to like think about being a subscriber going through it, okay? Now, if somebody clicks on this link and they immediately get an email that's like, "Did you like your templates?" Like that might be kind of creepy, right? Like it's a little bit like kind of weird. You're like, "Wow." And they might not like interact with that super well. So what I might do here is I might go in here and add like a very slight time delay. I'm gonna say like an hour. So an hour after they download their templates, gives them a chance to breathe and see if they like it. I will then ask them, "Do you like your templates?" Okay. So make sure you're thinking about that from the perspective, and not just being like a super creeper and like as soon as they click on it, you're like, "Hey." But that's what I'm gonna do here, just to make sure that that's not kind of weird. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, so now something else that we added with this new era of workflows launch this past week is we added the ability for all of our branches to join back together. Before, whenever you made a branch, they were branches forever. Like if you wanted the same email in two branches, you had to make the same email in both branches. It was very painful. But now these branches come back together, okay? So you can see here that these two yes, no branches separate, but then they join together here. If I want somebody to have a different experience over here in the no branch, I can add another branch. I can add other things. I can add time delays. Or if I don't want them to come back, I can simply add an exit step and they are disconnected from the branch. Okay. So, like, if you want them to be done after they didn't open your template, you can just have them leave and not bug them anymore. But if you do want them to continue down the path and rejoin, you simply remove that exit step and it will pull them back together. Okay. Now, let's say after both of these things happen here. Okay. So I give them the delivery. I watch for that click. They either get a reminder to download or ask them if they like it. But after that is done, at this point in time, they are ready to be formally welcomed to my business if they haven't. I might want to put them into a welcome sequence. Okay. So what I like to do here is I like to come to the action, click action, and I'm going to add my subscribers to a segment. Now, again, these are personal tips that I have used for my businesses for many, many years. But when I am building these workflows, using segments is so helpful. And I have a segment called Ready for Welcome Series. And guys, you can use emojis in your segments? I love using emojis in my segments. So I have a little clock and it's called Ready for Welcome Series. So anybody who goes through my opt-in, they get dropped into this segment Ready for Welcome Series, and that segment will trigger the next workflow. Okay? All right, so I have built this workflow. Again, we're going to walk through it one more time and then move on to the next one. So somebody either fills out a form or is added to the email template freebie segment. I'm going to wait 5 minutes, send them their free download. Okay? Then I'm going to start watching. Did they click on the download link inside of that email? If they did, I'm going to wait an hour and then ask them how they like their templates. If they didn't, after the 7 days, it's going to move them to an email called, "Hey, don't forget to download your templates." After that, whichever branch they go down, they are ready to be formally welcomed to my business with my welcome series. I'm going to add them to the segment Ready for Welcome Series, and then they will exit the workflow. And that's it. Okay. Now, with opt-ins, I want people to be able to go in through this more than once if they, lost their download or whatever. So I'm going to come in here to settings, allow repeat subscribers. And then if I want to like force them to wait a certain amount of time before repeating, I can, but I really don't need to. So I'm going to set that to 0. And then when I'm done, make sure you publish your workflow. Okay. A paused workflow will do nothing. So make sure you publish your workflow. Okay, how are we feeling? There's a lot to absorb here. Good. Okay. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay. So we built our opt-in. So now when somebody fills out that form, remember this form right here. Now this won't trigger, this email is not a real email, so I can't actually get it in my inbox. But if I go in here and I say Dawn, and I say Dawn workflow, webinar at freebie.com. It should come in here. They should be added to my audience just like that. See, opt-in, email template freebie. And then again, should be in here. There they are. One person's in the workflow, and that would be kicked out right away. If I want to see what's going on, I can click on this, the view details button. I can see how many people are active, completed, opens, clicks. I can see overall open rate and click rate inside of my workflows. Are they on mobile or a desktop? I can also see any bounces, spams, or unsubscribed right here. I could also go to this details tab though, okay? And here in this details tab, I can see exactly where people are, okay? Oh, somebody else signed up. Who's using my form? But I can see exactly, Andrea, good to see you. But I can see exactly who's in my form and what part they are in here in the workflow. I can just click on this little thing. So in 5 minutes, it will send them this email. But again, because this is a test account, the email will not actually send. But for you, it will. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So now let's move on to our welcome workflow. Remember, at the end of my opt-in, I said that they're ready for welcome emails. Okay. So we're going to build that welcome workflow. Go to new workflow. I'm going to start from scratch. And I'm going to call it welcome workflow. Cool. Okay. Perfect. All right, guys. Now, so I'm going to start this, and now I want this to begin when somebody is marked ready for welcome workflow, right? Remember that segment that we just added? So I'm going to say, start this workflow when we're added to this segment, ready for welcome series. So once somebody's added to that, they are now moved into this workflow. Okay. So Joy, you actually brought up a great question. Why do you continue from there instead of the same workflow? So Joy, I want you, so when we're building these workflows, smaller workflows tend to work better than one big workflow. Okay. The reason why, for example, for me at Tech Savvy Creative, I have probably 25 different opt-ins. If I put all of that into one workflow that funneled into a giant thing, that would be a lot, right? So what I do instead is I have a workflow for each opt-in. So I know exactly where people are at what time, and then they all funnel into a separate workflow, okay? That also prevents me from pausing everything at the same time. I only have to pause a piece of it rather than all of that. This also is really great, like when you're building bigger things, because let's say, for example, I have a workflow opt-in, a workflow for my template opt-in, and then I have a workflow for my AI opt-in. If I add the welcome emails after the fact, I'm duplicating my work, right? So instead, I can just have them come together into one workflow and then continue that way. Yes. Okay. So here I am. I'm going to build my welcome workflow. Now, one thing, a little trick of the trade here, a question that we get a lot is what if I don't want people to get other emails from me while they are in my welcome series? Okay. That's a common question we get. Maybe they want to, they don't want to also get their newsletter, things like that. So what we like to recommend is something called a do not disturb segment. Okay. So come in here. I'm going to go to action, choose action, add subscribers to the segment. And then I'm going to create the segment. I like to use emojis. So hold on, let me get an X. Do not, we'll go dramatic. Do not disturb. Okay. I have just added them to a segment called do not disturb. So now whenever somebody is in the welcome series, they're going to be added to do not disturb. When I send my newsletters or my other emails, I'm going to exclude the segment do not disturb from those sends. So people who are in this workflow will not get other emails from me because I'm excluding them. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. But when they're done with this workflow, I'm going to take them out of that segment. Okay. We're going to do that here at the end. Cool. Yes. Do not disturb. Big fan of the do not disturb segment. Okay. Now let's talk about multi-branch. Okay. So let's say, so for me, we're still using my business here as an example. I speak on stages at conferences. I do online workshops like this. I also do some other things. So whenever they sign up, at the end of my workshops or whatever, I often give them an opt-in, and those opt-ins have the segment that there was an online event or an in-person event, or they purchased from me, whatever it is. I create these, what I call umbrella segments. So any form that's for an in-person event gets added to the in-person event segment. Any form for an online event gets added to the online form, so on. And when these people come into my welcome series, I might want to address them differently. Like if I am at a in-person event, I can say something like, "Oh my gosh, it was so good to meet you in real life." But if I said that to somebody that never has met me in person, that's kind of weird, right? So I want to use these segments to branch into different opportunities. Now, what I'm going to do is to do that, I'm going to click on this plus sign and I'm going to click on multiple branch. Okay. You can have up to, I believe it's 12. Petra, can you quote me on that? I think it's 12 branches if I remember correctly. But these multiple branches can be built off of different things. You can choose.
It depends what type of option you choose there. So for percentages, it's a different set than segment and data field values.
Cool. Thanks, Petra. For those of you who don't believe that Petra's a real person. Thank you. Okay, so there's different things. So data fields. Inside of Flodesk, you have data fields. So that's your first name, your last name. You can also create custom fields. So like I might have one for state and I might collect that on their form that I'm filling out. Or what season of their wedding they're getting married in, or on my real account, I have like what Mac should they buy? Because that's part of my quiz, right? I can use a data field to separate these branches. I can also separate them by segments, which is what we're going to do here in a minute. And also, I can separate by percentages. Now, this is really, really cool, okay? Because I might want to split my audience 50-50, send them the same email in both branches, but maybe make some small changes and see which one does better. Does the blue button do better than the red button? Or does this subject line do better than this subject line? So you can separate by those percentages. And you can add branches. So I can think like, we're gonna stress test. Okay, 6 branches for the the percentages here. I can add all of those different branches, and the workflow will automatically distribute them based off that. Now, it's not going to give you like a report or anything. You'll have to go in here and you'll have to compare them and make a decision, but it's still super, super powerful. You might also want to test what freebie gets the most interest, which one gets the most downloads. So I might have 3 different freebies and then have them, one a freebie in each. And then everybody that comes through gets a random freebie. Which one performs the best? Which one are people most excited about? A lot of really cool things to do with these percentages. Now, for this example, though, I am going to use the segments because, again, I speak in person, online, other places. So in the branches, I'm going to use my emojis again. I like to make umbrella segments. They're literally umbrellas. In-person event is my first one. Second, go to my umbrella. Online event is my second segment. Everybody else gets the third email. Okay. Now, if here they are in both of these, let's say somebody I've worked with online and in person, the leftmost branch is going to win. Okay. So if you have somebody that has multiple things that apply to them, the leftmost branch will win. Okay. Elaine, so the question is like, can this be like A/B testing to see which link or freebie works best? Yes, absolutely. You can test your emails. Now, we do have real A/B testing on the way, okay? And I say real because it's going to give you reports, better data that compare the two for you, where this, you're just going to have to manually do the A/B testing. You'll have to look at them and like compare yourself and then make the decision. So we made it very intentional to not call it A/B testing because A/B testing is coming. But yes, you can test and see what's working for sure. Okay. So here I am. I'm branched on my different segments here. My in-person crowd, I want to get them an email that makes sense for them. Email, their first email, duplicate existing. So it was so good to see you in real life. Select email. There we go. Again, if I want to edit that email, I can click edit and edit it right here in my workflow. If I met them online, I want to give them a welcome email that is so good to see you online, right? I probably would never say that, but you guys get it, right? And everybody else who I did not meet at a workshop or an in-person event or whatever that was, I'm going to have a third email. This one is a little bit more boring, but it's just to show you that it's different. There we go. just like that. Okay. So again, they come in, we put them on do not disturb. I'm going to split them based off their segments. If I met them at an in-person event, they go here. Online event, they go here. Anybody else goes right here. If they happen to be in more than one of these branches, they go to the leftmost branch. Okay. Very cool. So I have that. And as you can see, they all branch down. Now, let's say I don't want this third branch to continue on with the others. I can simply go to the plus sign. I can add an exit, and then that branch is disconnected from the other two. If I want to bring it back, get rid of the exit, brings it right here. Okay. But after this first email, I wanted to continue down the same path. I'm going to make it super simple. I'm going to come in here for a time delay. I'm going to say 1 day. I'm going to add an email. And then I'm going to come in here to duplicate existing email. And then I'm going to tell you a tale from behind the Genius Bar. Guys, I used to work for Apple. I worked behind the Genius Bar. I launched the iPhone 4 and the very first iPad. I got some stories and I shared them in my email. So there we go. Tales behind the Genius Bar. And then I'm going to say, okay, the next one, I actually want to send them one of my Tech Tip Tuesday emails. Okay. But that means that I need to wait for it to go out on a Tuesday. Okay. I want the next email to wait to the next Tuesday. So I'm going to go to a time delay. I'm going to change for wait for a certain day of the week. And then I'm going to say Tuesday. So this workflow will hold the person until Tuesday. And then I can add an email just like that. Duplicate existing email because I already have it. Here's my Tech Tip Tuesday email. And there we go. Now, if I want to wait for like Tuesday at 8 a.m., first you choose the date, and then I come in here and add another time delay, and I change it to a certain time of the day. And then I say, okay, 8 a.m. Central Time. Here we go. Okay. If they entered on a Tuesday, Petra, do you know if it's the current day, if it triggers? Petra will know.
Sorry, I was typing an answer. Can you repeat?
Yes. If they like, let's say they hit the wait until Tuesday and it is Tuesday, does it go or does it wait till the next Tuesday?
So Tuesday is always midnight, so right after it hits Tuesday. So if you are, if the time delay is wait until Tuesday, it waits, the clock hits exactly Tuesday. If you have a following time delay, then it will wait until 8 on that Tuesday and then sends the next email.
Got it. Okay. So yes, if it's already Tuesday, it's technically has already passed. Now they could enter the workflow or get to this point at Monday at like 11:58 p.m. and then it would be Tuesday. So does that make sense? Thank you, Petra. Petra knows everything. Awesome. Okay. So this is just my quick welcome workflow. So again, they come in here. I put them on do not disturb. I branch them out to give them a different welcome email based off of, where they came from. I wait 1 day, send them a story, wait 1 day, or wait until the next Tuesday, wait until a certain time on that Tuesday, and then send them a Tech Tip Tuesday. So let's say this is the end of my welcome. I would probably make it a little bit longer. If I'm like building this out, I would give them an offer, help them understand what I can do. But let's say we're done here and I want to do a couple of different things. First, I want to remove them from do not disturb. Okay. Because we already put them in do not disturb. We got to remove them because they're done with this workflow. So I'm going to go to remove from segment, do not disturb. So we take them out of that segment. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to also remove them. Can I do more than one here? I also want to remove them from ready for welcome series. Okay. Because I don't need them in the ready for welcome series. They're done with the welcome series. Okay. So I'm going to also remove them from that segment. And then I like to add them to a segment. Choose action, add them to a segment. And I use a checkbox called welcome complete. There we go. So whenever I look at a subscriber, I go into their settings, I see all of their segments, I can tell exactly who is already done with their welcome, right? Now, because I just made this different segment here that says their welcome is complete, when I go to my workflow settings, I can choose to exclude anybody from going into this segment that has already completed the workflow. Okay, does that make sense? So when I am done here, I got to go ahead and push publish to create these segments here. Here we go. Segments. Exclude subscribers. I want to exclude anybody who has already completed the welcome. Okay. So if somebody is added back to ready for welcome series and they've already completed it, it's just going to kick it back up. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna go through it one more time. I see Karen in there. Okay, so one more time, we're gonna walk through this and we're gonna go on to the last one and then go and through a couple of things. We're short in time today, guys. But I will be here as long as you need me. All right. So we're gonna start when they're ready for a welcome series segment. They're gonna be added. We're gonna add them to a do not disturb segment. We will branch their first welcome email based off of who they are, where they came from, so I can send different specific messaging to those subscribers. They will rejoin back together. Time delay 1 day, get a story from me. Time delay until the next Tuesday, until 8 a.m. And then they will get a Tech Tip Tuesday email. Once they are done with this workflow, I'm going to remove them for the Ready for Welcome workflow segment and also Do Not Disturb. And I'm going to add them to a segment called Welcome Complete. And I'm done. Click Publish, and we are done. Okay. Short on time, guys, but I want to make sure we get through this. The next one I want to show you guys is an abandoned cart workflow. Now, the reason why I want to show you an abandoned cart workflow is because there's something very unique about these workflows that I want to call out here. So here in the templates, we have abandoned cart workflows. We are going to grab one of these just for this example. Now, what is an abandoned cart? So has anybody ever put something into a shopping cart online and then you left it because you got distracted or whatever, and then 5 minutes later or an hour later, they're like, hey, don't forget this, right? That's an abandoned cart workflow, okay? Now, what you can do, so these workflows, we can trigger when somebody abandons a cart, and we have connections with Thrivecart, Wix, Shopify, and Flodesk Checkout. So you can build this on whatever e-commerce platform you use that we're connected to. Now, Squarespace, we do have an integration with, but Squarespace does not allow abandoned cart workflows in their, what's called their API. So we are not able to do abandoned cart workflows with Squarespace. So I'm going to use a Flodesk checkout here. So if somebody goes to checkout in my Flodesk checkout, I have an email template club thing on there. If they abandon the cart, it brings them into this abandoned cart workflow. Now, what I want to call out about abandoned cart is there's actually a different kind of email here. Okay. Now, this abandoned cart workflow, this first email is called a transactional email. Okay. There are two different types of emails in the eyes of inboxes. There's marketing emails, and there's transactional emails. Transactional emails are like receipts. Okay. You don't have to subscribe to somebody to get a receipt from a company. You legally don't have to subscribe to somebody to also get an abandoned cart email. Okay. However, you do have to subscribe to get a marketing email. So this first email here is a transactional email. This email will send to anybody regardless if they are your subscriber or not. Okay. Now, with that, because this is a transactional email, this email will be very limited. Okay. You will not be able to add blocks here. You will not be able to add all of your different things here. You can change your color. We can make your font bigger and your logo. You can still change all the things in here, but it's very fixed because legally you can't add marketing materials to a transactional email. So you can come in here and update this first transactional email. Again, I can't add any sections or anything like that. And also this section here is called the cart block. This will populate with whatever they left behind, okay? You can't customize this here. This is a piece that will be automatically populated from the abandoned cart. So once I'm done with that, after that point, it asks me the question, are they subscribers or are they not? Okay. If somebody is not a subscriber, I cannot continue to email them because they are not my subscribers. Okay. So they're going to go down the unconfirmed path. Okay. If they are subscribers, you're going to go over, they will go to this branch. And because they are subscribers, you will be able to customize these additional emails. So these are now marketing emails that only my subscribers can see. I might come in here and add a block that I've used, like use the code SAVVY. I don't know. These are just different blocks that I have. But I can customize this for the future emails in the abandoned cart workflow after they have gone through that initial piece. So, sorry guys, this is really short and sweet on the abandoned cart workflow, but I do want to call this out that this is just built a little differently because of this transactional piece right here. Chris, yes, this can be used with Thrivecart. It can also be used with Wix. No, abandoned cart is available for Wix, not Squarespace. Sorry, it is available for Flodesk Checkout, Shopify, Wix, and Thrivecart. If you want to connect one of those to your tool here, you're going to go over to your settings in Flodesk, integrations, and you will be able to connect Wix, Thrivecart, all of that right here. Samcart, not yet, but Natalia, please make sure you're voting on our public roadmap. Erin, Petra, can you guys drop a link to that public roadmap? Okay, cool. So, real quick, you guys can share emails, workflows. Sorry, guys, my dog is just hanging out in the background. To share a template for a workflow, you click on the three dots, share as a template, turn it on, copy. Yes, Christy, we will definitely be sending out a replay. Here is a link. Everybody enjoy your new welcome workflow template. And guys, just remember that those are like emails, like placeholder emails. They don't always make sense. So make sure you look at all of those before you start sending them. Share as a template, copy. Here you go. Enjoy your new templates. All right. Beautiful. Last but not least, two things I want to cover before we move on to Q&A. How do you move emails? Okay, so if you have an existing workflow and you want to move an email from like maybe this branch to this branch, okay, that's an email we get a lot. So if you built the email here inside of the workflow, it's not saved anywhere else. It's only here in the workflow. If you want to move an email, what I need you to do, at least currently, drag and drop is coming, but not yet. We're going to click on the email, edit, come up here once you're in the edit to the favorites, okay? And I'm going to call it tell a story, save it to my favorites. I'm going to go back. Now that it's a favorite and I want to move it here, I'm going to click on the plus sign, email, create a new email. And over here on the left, I have my favorites and it's right there. I can click view details, customize it, finish, and there it is. Okay. Now, once it's there, everything looks good. I can get rid of this one. Okay. So in the meantime, that's how you move around emails. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is date specific time delays. Okay. So I'm going to go to time delay. There is the option to delay until a specific date of the year. Now, I want to be very clear on how this works because a lot of people are caught off guard by it currently. I'm going to set this, let me set this up to give a couple of dates. Okay. And then I'm going to do an email. Just going to pick a random email. Okay, so I have two date specific time delays here. Okay, so I say wait until February 11th at 12 a.m. Now, with a date specific time delay, I chose a specific date of the year and I chose the date. Now it asks me if I want to apply this to any year. So if I say apply to any year, it takes off the 2026 here. Okay, and what's going to happen if somebody comes into this workflow and hits this point after February 11th at 12 a.m., it's going to wait until the next February 11th at 12 a.m. Okay? That's not ideal for everybody. Okay? So if it misses the time delay and it does apply to every year, it will sit there. The subscriber will sit there until that day the next year. Okay? Really important. If currently I uncheck this apply to any year, and it says 2026. So February 11th, 2026 is not happening again. It will automatically move to the next step, which is this email. Okay. So if somebody happens to come in, I'm going to add this one to this as well. Okay. Now, if somebody happens to come in, let's say they came into this workflow on February 20th. Okay. And you can see here that this time delay has a 2026 on it and a 2026. They come here, they get that email. They're going to skip this step since it's passed. They're going to get this email. They're going to skip this step since it's passed, and they're going to get this email all at the same time. Okay. So this is my warning to you. We are working on a fix for this. We're calling it skip steps. You're going to be able to do that here very shortly, hopefully very soon. But I do want to call out how this currently works because some people are caught off guard because a lot of emails send at the same time because somebody comes in late. Okay. So, um, yes, beautiful. Okay. That is it from me. Now I have 5 minutes for questions, but I'm happy to extend it another like 10 or so if you guys want to hang out. But if you are need to jump, then definitely do. I'm gonna jump in here to the Q&A. Oh my gosh, you guys, you answered 106 questions. Awesome. Yes, there is a Facebook group and it's incredible. Petra is in there. I'm in there every once in a while, but not nearly as much as Petra. Petra, can you drop a link to the Facebook Insiders group? Incredible. Oh my gosh, there's still hundreds of you here. Thank you all. This is amazing. Amazing. Okay, Q&A time. Q&A time. Um, question, in settings under allow repeat subscribers, there's an option for wait time before repeating. What do you recommend we enter for that? Grace, that is totally up to you. For me, if it's a freebie, I really don't care how quickly they do it. They misplaced it or if they typed in the wrong, I don't know, whatever they want, they can go in as quickly as possible. So that's why I made it 0 days. However, if I like it's a welcome or, maybe they can't come into a welcome series for the next year or something like that. Like that's totally up to you. It's just depending on what the workflow is for. Oh, deliverability. Okay, let me check and see if there's any lots of deliverability questions. I'm going to answer those here. Um, Taryn asked, what template did you use for your business? Nothing. I made it. And now you have it. Enjoy. My brand is designed by Sember Studios. She is amazing. Her name is Kelsey, also a Flodesk member. Sign up for her newsletter because it's probably the most beautiful newsletter I've seen in Flodesk ever. She inspires me every day. And then my website was built by Sarah Ann Designs. It's a show at website. Yes. Okay. Where do we sign up for Tech Tip Tuesday? Steven, it is not live yet. That's just been the project that has been on my back burner forever and ever, but I will happily share it on my socials. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at it's Dawn Richardson. You can follow me there and I'll definitely share it there once it's live. Okay. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to send an email as I don't have a custom email address. Yes. Would that affect my account? Okay. So this is going to kind of lean us into the deliverability conversation. Now, in the world of the inbox providers, if you are considered a bulk sender, which is somebody who sends a lot of emails at once, which people on Flodesk are typically bulk senders, sending from a custom domain email is very, very important. You want to be sending from that custom domain email and have it properly authenticated. That is the first line of defense that these inboxes use to make sure that you are a legitimate person and not somebody that's trying to be malicious or spammy. Okay. So having that custom domain email is important. That means you're not using an at Gmail email address or at Yahoo. However, if you're just getting started, you'll be okay for a little bit, but you do eventually want to switch. If you start to have some spam issues, that's going to be the first thing that we're going to look at. Okay. Yes, we will definitely get you guys the recording. Ronald, we have a lot of realtors that are on our platform. There's actually an incredible partner that we have, Coffee and Contracts. She has a whole online membership just for realtors and creating email marketing for them. So definitely check them out. Bethel, thank you for joining for your first Flodesk webinar. There will be many. We do this every month and it's a different topic every month. Beautiful. Okay, so again, guys, if you want to jump, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to spend maybe another 10 minutes or so on the next, the deliverability questions that we have. I want to make sure we address those. Everybody, if you are going to jump off, thank you for joining us. If you want to hang though, please hang out. I'll give you guys another 10 minutes. And Aaron, Petra too, if you guys need to jump, go ahead and do that too. Okay. So a lot of people are talking about emails ending up in spam. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about this from a high level because this is important. This is also important for your workflow emails. Okay. Now, workflow emails tend to perform better than single send emails simply because somebody did something to get into this. Okay. So they tend to be like a warmer subscriber, right? They signed up for the opt-in or they, just purchase something. They tend to be warmer versus somebody who signed up for something a long time ago and then you continue to send a newsletter to them down the line. Now, when it comes to making sure our emails are landing in not the spam folder, okay? So we say the inbox. The inbox includes your promotions tab, okay? The promotions tab is not a bad place to be. In fact, you're a business, you're supposed to be there. It's not unusual. Where we don't want to be is the spam folder or blocked entirely, okay? So, a couple of things that we need to do to make sure that we're doing that. First is be sending from a custom domain email. So, for me, at techsavvycreative.com. So, it's hello at techsavvycreative.com. That's my email. That's the email I send from. You want to be doing that and make sure it's authenticated. We have a whole deliverability workshop on that. Check that out, okay? Then I want to make sure that if I move to a new platform, or if I haven't emailed in a while, or if I just authenticated my domain, I warm up my list. I don't want to blast all of my subscribers out the gate. One thing for sure that we know is inboxes don't like surprises, okay? Because if you kind of show up out of nowhere to the eyes of these inboxes and just start sending these giant emails, that's spammy and malicious behavior. And they're in the business of trying to protect their users. So, what you want to do is start sending slowly. Workflows are great for that because you're not blasting people at the same time, right? People are coming in and going at the same time. Now you want to start with a small email. So maybe your first newsletter, you send it to a small batch, and then the next one you send it to a bigger batch, and then the next one you send it to a bigger batch. We call that warming up your domain. Again, we talk all about that in the deliverability workshop. Another thing that's really prominent right now, everybody, is short links, especially YouTube. There is a significant suppressing of any short links being used. So if you are sharing an Amazon link in your email and you're using the short link, or even YouTube, and when I say YouTube, I'm talking about like the dot is in between the TU and the BE. That's a short link. Instant spam. Instant spam with a big red message across the top that says there's a dangerous link in here. Okay. So look for those short links in your emails. Those are big red flags to inboxes. And then lastly, the piece that I want to share with you is clean your list. If people are not opening and engaging with your emails, stop emailing them. Okay. Inboxes look at that. They say, oh, only 10% of people open those emails. They look at those patterns. Obviously, your content's not valuable if only 10% of people want them. But if instead you send that same email to only the 10% that do open it historically, 100% of people open it. Oh my gosh, everybody you sent it to wanted it. And they start to trust you. Clean out your subscribers. Clean them. Again, we had a whole deliverability workshop on that. Go check that out. Yes, any short link. Any short link. So you want to make sure, yes, Amazon affiliate links are short links, and that you want to get the full link. So, Annette, so like, at the top you have your bar in Amazon here. We're just gonna go to my Amazon. Oh my gosh, guys, cancel Amazon. Don't judge me and my children's things. So like right here, if like I'm saying like I want these shirts right here, and like this is where I get my Amazon link, I want the full link. Bitly is a big red flag right now. And you guys, the reason why, let me tell you why, okay? The reason why is because these short links can be used maliciously to redirect to something very dangerous. So when the inboxes see these short links, they don't know where the end result is, and they're concerned about it, okay? Yes. The long links are harder to get. Yes, YouTube, you have to actually open the video and get it out of the top. I have a in the confirmation email for this, you guys, there should be a link to the playlist for all of the deliverability or all of the previous master classes. You can check that out there. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Cool. We're only 3 minutes over. Amazing. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Again, I am not able to answer all 27 questions that are left. But thank you guys so much. Enjoy your workflow template. Check it out. I hope this is helpful to you. Again, we are going to be doing many more of these. We do a masterclass every month. If there's a topic you want to hear about, I'm going to send you a survey. Let us know about it. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I will see you guys at the next one. Until next time. Bye, guys.